Welcome back to my channel. Today let's work on the Leetcode 1091 shortest path in binary matrix. So this question wants you to find the shortest path from top left cell. That's the index of 00 to the bottom right cell. The index of n-1 and -1. And it also requires that all the visited cells of the path are 0. That means you cannot go through the cell with value of 1. And all the adjacent cells of the path are 8 directionally connected. For example, they are different, but they share an edge or a corner. That means if we look at example 2, we can know this more clearly. Take the middle one as an example. We can go to adjacent 8 cells. That will be minus let the index shift will be 0 -1 to the left, 0 1 to the right, 1 0 to the down, 1 -1 0 to the up, 1 -1 1 to the top right, -1 -1 to the top left, 1 -1 to the bottom left, 1 1 to the bottom right. That's all the 8 adjacent cells to the central one. And actually we don't this question do not require you to return the path. It requires you to return the length of the shortest path. And the length will be the number of visited cells in this path, which means it also includes the initial cell. Take this one as an example. From 0 to the in the top left to the bottom right 0, that involves 2 cells, and so the length will be 2. Now let's work on this problem. So firstly, we need to have a directional integer array that will be that 8 direction vector that I just mentioned. You can place them in any order basically. So let me count them. 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. That's it. And so every time a question asks you the shortest path, especially in a graph, you need to consider to use BFS. Because BFS can help you to find the shortest path. And firstly, we need to check if the top left is 0 or 1, right? If it's 0, then we can put it into our queue. For later use. This one will be integer array queue. And one more thing, we also need a Boolean matrix to check which cell we have visited or not. We don't want to go to cells that we have visited, because that will waste our time and get into Stack Overflow problems. So while this queue is not empty, we want to firstly obtain the size of the queue, and for every element in this queue, we want to explore its 8 adjacent cells, except for visited ones. And by the way, we also need to have an integer parameter to return our result. If this current 0, then equals to greater the length, and current 1 equals to greater 0 the length. That means we reached the bottom right corner. -1 actually is, and we want to return the result +1. Yeah, you can find this rule by these examples, and you can also change this to 1 so you don't have +1 here. And then for integer elements in our direction array matrix, we will explore a new cell. That new cell will be x equal to current 0 plus element 0, y equals to current 1 plus element 1. That's basically the row index and the column index. If this is inside the bound of this array, I mean this grid matrix. So firstly we need to check this firstly. And we also need to check if it's equal to 0 or not. We also need to check if it's visited or not. I try to replace this one this Boolean matrix with a hash set, but I failed. The hash set doesn't work in my code, and if it's not visited, we can put it into the queue, right? For next time visit. And we also need to mark it visited. Yeah, we also need to mark it here. After the for loop, that for loop means every layer you explore, and after that we need to make our result +1, and at the end, if we cannot find a path, we need to return -1. Yeah, let's try if it works. Yes, it works. Yeah, I will show you my previous code that I try to use the hash set. I use something like this, but this actually doesn't work. So if you know why doesn't this work, please leave a comment. Thank you so much.